taking advice. Hello everybody, Tom here from Code. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to talk about the age-old thing of giving and taking advice. So this video today has come around of a combination of situations that have happened in my life where I've been perhaps the person asking for advice from somebody I trust, and equally been the person that somebody has asked for advice. First and foremost, if somebody asks you for advice, you should be honoured that somebody trusts you, trusts your opinion and your knowledge and your experience of life enough to think that you may hold the answer to their problems. I take it as an honour when somebody pulls me to one side and asks me. And I'm a great believer in, if I'm in a difficult position, I will hear out what someone else has got to say. Okay? However, what we must remember, and we must not be offended if somebody listens to your advice but doesn't take it. This has happened to me multiple times in my life. People do ask, they do perhaps consider what I've got to say, but ultimately they come to the conclusion themselves. That's totally fine. I have no issue with that. In fact, I'm glad sometimes that someone can find their own way, because we should never have to depend on anybody really. It's nice to have support, and I know you can't always go it alone, but sometimes getting to the bottom of your own issue, there's something quite powerful about that, and something that we need to understand and accept, you know. It's always good though when somebody's there to back you and wants to generally help. I distinctly remember years ago an aunt of mine asking me for advice, and however we got onto the conversation, I can't exactly remember. I gave my honest take on the situation in hand, but 10 years later nothing had changed. She hadn't taken my advice, she hadn't changed, and then the conversation come up again. That is a little bit annoying, to be honest. If you've given somebody your time and you've offered advice to them to help them, when they turn round, they don't take it, and then it comes up again, it is a little bit irritating, to be honest. But ultimately what we must remember, guys, is that everyone has a life, everyone has a journey, and everyone must sometimes make their own way. And we can't live somebody's life for them. We can't help them. Ultimately, sometimes they have to help themselves. And most recently, a very, very good friend of mine is feeling a little bit lost in his own life. And I've been trying to support him and give him as much encouragement as I can and advice where I can. But the fact of the matter is, I think he feels he has to make his own way. So I'm not offended that he hasn't taken any of what I've given him as advice. It's his life. But what he has to realise is he has the power to change. And he has to be willing to change to get to where he wants to be. And moaning about it again and again will not help. Okay? Always remember, somebody will only speak from their own experience and their own perspective. They probably won't always be able to give you a full tilt on the situation, because sometimes, unless you've been through the situation, you can't possibly know what to say or what to do. And I have found this, and I think we as people need to be very conscious of, when we're kind of giving people the benefit of the doubt, so, you know, in terms of what advice we're giving, how would I handle it if I was them? How would I? What would I want to hear? Well, not just what would I want to hear, what solution is there, possibly? And how can I give them that idea so they can go away and maybe change it, maybe do what they need for themselves? Yes. Not a very long video today, but one I feel is quite important. If somebody values you enough to ask for your advice, you should be honoured. Absolutely. And the same if you're asking for someone else's advice. You're asking for someone else's advice because you respect that person's experience, life skills, and you probably trust them as well. That kind of goes hand in hand. But always remember not to be offended when someone don't take it, because ultimately life is yours, and what you do with it is up to you. Okay. In the case of my friend, I just need to be there for him in whatever way I can, as any good friend would be. Okay, regardless of whether he wants to hear what I've got to say or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, our friendship bond's strong, and I want him to be happy. So if he finds that in his own way, that's great, and that's all that matters, isn't it? Deep down, guys, this is the first video of 3 this week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening. I really appreciate your time and your energy spent here on my channel. Thank you kindly. First of 3, put down in the comment section below, are you somebody that's constantly giving advice or asking for it, or do you find yourself on both sort of axes? And do you find that sometimes people just completely don't listen at all and maybe just go off on their own tangent? At the end of the day, you shouldn't be offended. As I said, people have got the right to choose what they do, and you have to respect that. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below, leave me a thumbs up and a like, and let's hear that bell sign go ding dong so you know my next content's out. I will be back in a couple of days with my next video, but until then, as always, I want to say thank you all for listening. Take care of yourselves and bye for now.